Hello, and welcome back to another episode of How She Does It. Today, we're going to focus on how to develop your personal brand in 2024. I think no matter if you want to grow a social media following or not, building your personal brand in this day and age is so important. You can get a degree, but that doesn't necessarily mean you'll get a job, and your network can tie into your net worth. So making sure that you're in control of the brand that you portray online is going to indicate the career success that you have. Whether your platform is YouTube or LinkedIn, TikTok, or Instagram, it's so important that you go in with a strategy on how you build your social media presence to make sure that it reflects your goals and your values. Step 1, let's think bigger. I like to work backwards with my clients. One of the first questions that I ask in my one-on-ones is, where do you picture your brand in 12 months from now? I want you to dream bigger about where your brand can be if you put in the work today. Are your goals sales, followers, brand awareness, all of the above? Getting specific on what your goals are is going to help you work backwards in order to achieve it. Let's say today that we're starting at 0 followers and we want to 10x everything in 12 months, meaning you want $10,000 a month in revenue, 10,000 followers, and 100,000 brand impressions every 30 days. Now that we have a goal, let's ramp up towards it. The first 30 days is what I like to call your strategy explore stage. In the strategy explore stage, you're going to post every single day for 30 days. Then at the end of the 30 days, that's when we review your analytics. We go over your strategy. We look at views. We look at the performance, and then we tailor the strategy for what's working and what's not. This is also such a great reflection point for you to be able to pulse check. What did you enjoy creating? What did you not like? I really like to analyze this data point because I really find that when people are in their creative flow, that's when they produce the best work. Now, step 2 is setting up your systems. Content systems are so important. If you're wanting to make money from this, setting up your systems ahead of time is going to be so key so that you don't have a headache in 6 months when people are wanting to bill you and invoice you and send you money and you have no idea what to do with any of that. Your systems are going to equal your long-term success. This means you want to start by documenting your best practices. This is something that we do a lot in the corporate space to make sure that everything that needs to be done, there's a process of step-by-step instructions on how to complete that. So that if you're not sitting in the seat, somebody else can easily read that document and know what needs to happen next. So for example, if one of your platforms is YouTube, for YouTube you need a banner, a title, a description. You're going to need things like hashtags every single time you post. You want to make your life as easy as possible so you don't have to do this stuff every single time. It can be as simple as creating a folder in your Google Drive, and then every single time you upload, you just copy and paste the hashtags that are in there, so that you can give your brain a break from thinking about what do I need to accomplish this time. It's also so important to maximize on what every platform has to offer. So back to YouTube, you can go into upload defaults and put in your information like a TikTok link, an Instagram link, a LinkedIn link to your courses. They're all already in there. You want to make your systems as easy as possible so that you maximize posting on every single platform that you pick. Now, I recommend picking 2 platforms to post on consistently. Posting consistently on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram can look really different. Instagram prioritizes 3 to 5 posts a week, versus TikTok wants you to post multiple times a day. And a long-form YouTube, you can be uploading once a week on YouTube, and that works great for the algorithm. So having a process in place in order to be able to repurpose that content to maximize on the work that you're doing and the content that you're making is so important so that you don't hit burnout. Next, I want you to focus on building your brand identity. This is where you want to dive into the why behind your content creation process. So on a space like LinkedIn, what that can look like is professional awareness. You want to be top of mind for people when they think about, oh, I'm hiring for this job. Even if you're employed right now, you want to be top of mind for them. On a social media platform like Instagram or TikTok, you want to give the viewer a more personal look into your life. But identifying your brand identity is going to help tie all of that together so that you're showing up in the most authentic way to you for the audience that you're looking to attract. So how do you do that? Start with your why. Starting with your why in content creation is something that I preach over and over and over again. If you don't understand why you're posting, you shouldn't be posting at all. If you don't understand your why behind posting with social media, I would highly recommend starting with books like Find Your Why or Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Those are going to help you to dive deeper into your purpose so that you can make sure that that's clear for your audience. Because if you don't understand your why and why you're posting, other people are going to be confused and it's going to be harder for them to follow you. Once you've defined your why, it's so important to then dive into your customer profile. A customer profile is what a lot of businesses do when they're looking to understand how to market their product. What I want you to do is figure out who you're posting for. So again, if you're on a platform like LinkedIn, you're probably posting for a recruiter or a professional ally. But if you're on TikTok or Instagram and you're building a personal brand that way, you're more often than not trying to fill a gap in a space of somebody that looks like you. So answering questions like, who is this person? Give them a name. What do they do for work? How much money do they make? All of those things are going to help you in your content creation process so that you can understand how your content is going to impact them. Next, I want you to build in checkpoints for yourself. I think the number one thing that creators get caught up with is looking at their analytics too much. When you're a creative person and you're creating content, one of the most important things you can do is stay in that frame of mind. Checking your analytics and obsessing over engagement and likes and views is not going to help you to create the better content. So setting in checkpoints of I'm going to look at my analytics bi-weekly or monthly, that's a healthy timeline to be looking at how videos are performing and then be able to iterate on what's working and what's not. But don't get in the habit of checking things every day, because how I like to frame that is, would you meet with your boss every single day and expect a performance review? That would be silly and a lot of the times really discouraging. Show up to work every single day, try your absolute best, and build in bi-weekly, monthly, and quarterly checkpoints for yourself to review how your analytics are actually doing. Now, when you're reviewing your analytics, what I think is super important is to focus on the things that you can control. You can't control how many followers you get, the views, or the likes. You can control things like responding back to comments, posting in a specific cadence, maintaining consistency, consistently working on your editing skills and your content ideas. Those are the positive things to focus on that then will reflect in your analytics to have just a positive overall analytic growth trajectory. All we're looking for here is positive growth. So if your numbers in those 4 quadrants are in the positive, you're doing something right. Now, a huge part of posting on social media nowadays is the SEO, and it's a big part of where people are confused. And my favorite thing to teach is for you to think like Google. Thinking like Google in this sense is really going to help you to understand how you should be titling things, what hashtags you should be using. Platforms like TikTok and YouTube have really turned into search engines for people. Think about when you want to go to a new restaurant. Most likely you're not going to Google anymore. What you're doing is going on TikTok and searching best restaurant in Dallas, best restaurant in Toronto. And then you're looking at the video reviews of those restaurants so that you can decide where you want to go. So if you think like Google in what you would be searching for that specific topic, that's how you title your videos to get the best engagement, and making sure you're showing up in the relevant search results. And utilize every aspect of the platform that you're on. Developing a personal brand can really feel tedious at the beginning, but I want you to have the long game in mind. When you're developing a personal brand in 2024, what I want you to actually be thinking about is where you want to be in 2027. Stop playing the short game and look at the longevity that you can have if you start today. I saw a video a couple weeks ago of a streamer that hit 3 million subscribers, and he came online and he literally said, my dad was my only viewer for 1 year. Only his dad watched his videos. And he said, I'm so glad that I didn't give up, because a couple years later, I just hit 3 million. And now it's his full-time job. I want you to find one person in your life that can cheer you on every single day for a year. That when you're having those moments where it's hard and you want to quit and you're not feeling the traction, you turn to them and they breathe life back into you. Because breaking into this space is not hard. It's literally a waiting game. And if you compile the advice of all of the people in this industry, everyone is saying the exact same thing. Stay consistent, keep going, you'll get there. Along the road, your setup will get better, your content will get better, and you'll start to have more fun with it. But if you quit before you make it, you'll never know what you are capable of. And I think it's so important in 2024 because I don't know a single person who can just survive off of one income anymore. There's a lot of people who are really struggling. And so that's why I think that even when you're in your 9 to 5, even when you're in your job right now, building another stream of income is so important. What it's going to do is free up your time, free up your space in order to be able to accomplish more goals, build more businesses, or just feel a little bit more financially secure. To me, people come into content creation for one of 2 reasons. They either have something they want to say, or they have money that they want to earn. Building a personal brand is the way to do that. Your brand is going to help you to make money. Your brand is going to help you to stand out and attract the right opportunities. Lastly, let's talk about working backwards in our goal setting. So if we have a goal in 12 months from now to reach 10,000 followers, what that really means is every single month you have to be gaining in and around 835 followers. That number feels a lot more digestible, doesn't it? Which means on average every day you'll have to be gaining around 28 followers. Now what actually happens with social media is a lot of times the growth isn't going to look like that. It's going to come in spurts. So what I don't want you to do is be discouraged if every single day you're not gaining that amount of followers. What you want to focus on is putting out the good content, staying consistent, and it's just a numbers game. The more content that you post, the better your engagement is going to be, and the followers will come. So at the end of the first quarter, you want to have around 3,500 followers to be on track to hit your goal by the end of the 12 months. And that's why we put the analytic checkpoints in there, so that if you're not on track, we can evaluate your strategy and make sure that we readjust for Q2. That goes on and on and on until we're at the 12-month mark. The same thing goes for the revenue goal. You're not going to wake up one day and all of a sudden be making $10,000 in a month. That's not something that we can control. But what we can control is putting in a ramping period to say, hey, on month 1, I want to make $300. That's going to require some work. Probably reaching out to brands, doing some UGC work. Month 2, bump it to $600. Month 3, you're at $1,200. etc., until you hit that $10,000 mark. And as your account grows, so will the price that you'll be able to charge for brand deals. So it'll be a lot easier to hit that goal at that 12-month mark once you're meeting all of the other goals. Now, if you're at the end of this and you're thinking, that's a lot of work, that feels hard, you're right. I'm not going to sugarcoat this and say that this is an easy road to take. It's not. Building an extra stream of income is hard. Being rich is hard. Being poor is hard. Choose your hard. Because at the end of the day, life is expensive. So it's time for you to pick your hard. And I'll see you next time.